All right, very warm welcome onto the radio show tonight. Then Nicky Y from the Manic Street Preachers. How are you, Nicky?
I'm okay, thank you. Yeah, trying to learn the songs for this gig we got next week. Trying to learn the new album.
Yes, you're in the middle of rehearsals. This is for. Are you talking about the little gig that you're doing on the 5th of August somewhere in London, and we don't know where the location is yet?
That's the one. Yeah, not sure myself.
Win tickets on our website right now, xfm.co.uk. Is that the one you're talking about?
It is. Yeah, no, it's pretty. I mean, it is the first time we've played these new songs anywhere in the world. So. Got to try and remember the notes.
Now the new album is out in September time. Postcards from a Young Man. We've just started playing the brand new single. It's not war, just the end of love. Now the quote that everyone, I know you've down the years, Nicky. You've been great for a quote, but really inspired this time round. One last attempt at mass communication.
I think it's one of my best. It's like I've become the Peter Mandelson of rock and roll.
It's true though. It's true. You're great with a quote.
And I'm happy with that. Yeah, no, it did feel like that at the time. I mean, as we were saying, it's tough times for guitar bands. We're on our 10th album. A lot of bands get their 10th album. They don't really mean anything. I think, luckily enough, we're still pretty relevant, and we've put everything we can into this. We've treated it like Generation Terrorist or Everything Must Go. It's something that we could generally uplift people and also just, get their mind thinking as well.
So this is a big sounding Manics album. Did you go into it with those sorts of ambitions? You want to, turn out songs this time round that are going to be all over the radio and all over MTV and stuff?
We did. I'm not going to lie to you and pretend. Journal for Plague Lovers was our kind of really deep and meaningful artistic statement. It's a brilliant record to do. I've said it many times. I felt like having Richey back in the band and working with his lyrics. It was just such a wonderful experience. But I guess after Holy Bible, Everything Must Go came, and after Journal for Plague Lovers, Postcards from a Young Man came. It was a similar sort of thing, and out of that melancholia kind of rises that sort of manic, that uplifting. There's always sadness there, and there's always thought, but I think we can do something that not many other bands can do.
Yeah, but this is the thing about your band. Only the Manic Street Preachers could do this. You've made a set of songs that are accessible. Should we use that word? Maybe accessible to the masses. But then, the subject matter of some of these songs. Let me run through some of these. All we make is entertainment about the decline of industry in this country.
Yeah.
Yeah?
It is, yeah. The idea that, Cadbury's was the final straw for me. When we sold that off, it just felt like the real surreal, bizarre idea that the only nationalised industry in this country is now the banks.
Yeah.
The most profiteering industry we've ever made. It kind of makes me slightly sick.
Don't be evil. A comment on Google and that whole world.
Yeah, but that is a kind of sarcastic kiss off. Just the kind of idea that you're made to feel a bit of an idiot if you're kind of not engaging with the universality of technology. And for me, it all starts, with writing lyrics on a pen and paper. That's never going to change. It's the most exciting and imaginative thing I ever have when I'm there thinking, I can write a lyric for James and Sean. It's just such, that's never going to change. Hopefully.
Let's play some classic Manics. We're going to play the new one in a minute. We're going to talk more to Nicky Y after this. We're joined by Nicky Y from the Manic Street Preachers. How do you see your band these days in terms of, because in terms of like the demographic of, I don't know, I was thinking about this on the way into work today, 25s to 35s, maybe a broader demographic than that. You are the godfathers of XFM world, of guitar music. Is that something that you're proud of, you don't think about, you like to shy away from?
It makes me feel it gives me a warm glow because, you get mums and dads now who saw us on Generation Terrorist, and now they bring their kids along, and their kids are getting into us, and that's, we've been doing it 20 years. To be on the same label, the same people, same manager, same press, things like that. Some misguided loyalty going on somewhere.
A couple of things I want to touch on with you, Nicky Y. Right, just Johnny Lydon. Okay, I've got a problem in my head with my relationship with Johnny Lydon. Okay, because and I need your take on this because I love the man very much. I've always been in love with the myth and the romance of the Pistols and the album, of course. I've loved Public Image's album down the years as well. You have to work a bit harder, but I enjoy their music very much. Saw him at Benicassim a couple of weeks ago, and he was amazing. His voice was just bigger than ever, and the show was full of drama. It was fantastic. So that's on one side. The other side is, whenever I see him on the telly or in interviews, he always disappoints me.
Really?
I just find him very irritating and contradictory, and then, well, there's the whole butter thing as well. But I don't know. That's my problem. He was brilliant at Manic. What's your take on Johnny Lydon these days?
He's a true hero for me. You know, he still has that thing which I think I've got as well, as, you know, the various people got, and he's got working class rage. It's never going to get out of him, and whatever he's thinking, you can see it going around with him, and he has to let it out. And sometimes I agree that can come out in contradictions, it can come out in sort of snidiness.
Yeah.
But, you know, I've been in that position many times, and you're just born with it. And, I mean, for making Nevermind, you know, the bollocks, it's the greatest record ever made. There'll never be a record as good as that. And I think he's a really underrated lyricist as well. People almost see him as a cartoon figure, like you say, with a butter and stuff. But he has written some absolutely stunning words, and I'm a big fan of the boy.
I think it was Morrissey who said you can forgive some people anything, and maybe I think he falls into that category.
It's funny though, I was watching something on the Enemy website, and he just starts slanging off gorillas on there. You know?
Yeah.
He just can't control himself, and I admire that. I mean, I try and control myself these days, but fair play, he still does it.
But that interview that you're talking about, he was quite annoying at the start of it. He was slagging off the gorillas and just sounded a bit out of touch. But then the second half of that interview, he was talking about how nervous he was, and you really saw that he really came on a bit of Manic, and it really meant everything to him, that gig. You know, I think it still does.
It's really true, because especially like I said with Pill, I mean, you don't get any more art rock than Pill, and yet you're kind of presented with this kind of geezer sometimes, like you said, this, you know, and yet he's capable. Really he kind of redefined post-punk, you know, with Pill, and people don't see that sometimes. They just see the cartoon character. But you know, I'm a genuine fan of the man.
Finally, Nicky, we never saw this come in. It happened a few weeks ago. The Manic Street Preachers joined Twitter. Twitter was made for you. You know, it was made for you. You know, your throwaway magical lines and stuff.
I've really got I'm really glad I've had to give up drinking, because it could have been some pretty, you know, bad stuff going on, but I could have made a lot of enemies. But yeah, I do, you know, me and Sean's kind of does it all, and I like the way we've been drip feeding lyrics and stuff. I think it's a nice way of fans kind of getting sneak previews of the record, and yes, it could get ugly. That's all I could say. It could get ugly.
So you're director of content. Sean does all the technical stuff. And is James still a grumpy old granddad about this? He's not joining in.
James has no desire. When I mention it to him at all, he just looks at me blankly and gives me that stare I've had many times over the years, which says, "Don't bother me."
Who are you following, Nicky? Who are you following?
Sean's got a lot on there. I'm not following anyone.
Nah.
But like I said, I think Sean's mostly is Formula One, from what I can make out.
Right, okay. A bit about this brand new single, which we're about to play. We're playing it every night on the show at the moment. It's Not War, but The End of Love. Just a few words on this, Nicky, where it came from and how long you've had it and stuff.
Yeah, it came, I guess it was about 6-8 months old. James came in with a song he was really excited about. You know, I was really thrilled with the title. It's a very Manicsy title. It reminds me of, you know, If You Tolerate This, or something quite wordy, but really direct, I think. It's really glistening. It's fantastic feel to the record. And it's really effervescent, I think, for a 40-year-old, you know, 20-year-old band of 41-year-olds to make a record that sounds this energised. You know, Michael Sheen's doing the video, which you're really thrilled about as well.
How about this? Yeah.
Yeah, so, I don't know, it's just one of those things. It felt like a single. You know, when you just get something and it feels like a single.
Oh, definitely.
And that certainly did.
Kind of almost like, in terms of it being a big Manic single, like almost designed for lifey. It's got that kind of feel to it, you know. Yeah,
it's very in the mould of Everything Must Go. You know, you got glorious strings, you got a big old chorus, great James guitar solo. Yeah, I'm not. You know, we're not shying away from the fact that it's quite a nostalgic record. It does. You know, we just feel there's two versions of the band sometimes. There's the band that does Journal for Plague Lovers and Holy Bible, the sort of post-punk band, and then there's the more anthemic, emotional Manics, which we are at the moment. Nicky, thanks very much for coming on tonight. Really appreciate it, man. It's a pleasure. Thanks for playing the record.